So a couple years ago, Ford released a TSB on the Ford Explorer for the rear diff bolt. Why? Because some of them were breaking. Well, that's when we came out with our Steeda billet differential brace for the Ford Explorer. Absolutely the best kit on the market to prevent bolt breakage and deflection. Well, fast forward, you got bigger turbos now. People are putting built motors in these things. The next logical step to bulletproof your Ford Explorer rear end is our grade 12.9 bolt kit. As you can see, this bolt is bent. It's grade 10.9. That's the ones from the factory. Even if you go to the Ford dealership for the upgrade TSB, they're still putting a 10.9 bolt in it. So we had a custom 12.9 zinc plated bolt made that's not only going to add some strength and rigidity to your rear differential, and for just a few bucks, you can't beat it for your peace of mind. All right, so we're under the Ford Explorer. Now, most Explorers have a single bolt here supporting the rear diff. Some have two. Now, it's just gonna be a mirror image, so we do provide a kit with two bolts instead of one, this one only being a single bolt. Now, the reason why this is under a tremendous amount of force and stress is because as you're going and accelerating the vehicle, right? Drive shaft spinning, we're turning the ring and pinion inside this, axles are rotating, and so are your tires. That's moving your vehicle forward. Well, as the wheels are rotating forward, right, this differential is actually trying to go pinion up, meaning the pinion is trying to go up in the air, which puts a lot of stress on this bolt. It's only a single bolt. This is a 5,000 pound vehicle. Now this might not be an ST, so it's not making a ton of power, but still, this customer was concerned about the rigidity of this factory bolt. So we're simply gonna take out this factory 10.9 bolt and add our grade 12.9. So the factory bolt's a grade 10.9. What does that mean? Well, that is a rating as far as its tensile strength. How much pressure, how many pounds of force can be applied to that bolt before it ultimately fails. A grade 12.9 is gonna be significantly stronger than a grade 10.9. 12.9 is the strongest you can get in a metric series bolt. That's why no expense spared. We're gonna give you the best possible bolt. Ours is also gonna be zinc plated, which helps prevent it from any rust or corrosion later on down the road. So the first step is gonna be to try to support your rear differential. Now, we're using a 2-post lift here, so we're gonna use a simple screw jack. You don't wanna crank on it. You simply just wanna apply a little bit of pressure so it doesn't drop down. If you're working in your garage and you're on some jack stands, a floor jack will work absolutely perfect for this. Then we're gonna go ahead and get our 18mm socket. And the longest bar we possibly have. And we're gonna loosen this thing up. So power tools are usually used, but because this is a steel bolt threading into aluminum, I don't want to take the chance of hurting the threads. So we're gonna do it the old-fashioned way. Now, one thing you want to keep in mind here is you could see the gap on the bottom of this bolt and the gap on the top. So since there's a larger gap in the top, it means the diff is actually down a little bit. So to make sure we get good thread engagement when we stick the new bolt back in, just gonna lift it up here ever so slightly there. Try to make that gap a little bit more even. And as you can see, it actually is a little easier to get it out now. Oh yeah, butter. No, not that butter. Okay, felt it come loose. Now you can see, this is what I'm talking about with dissimilar metals. You have all these aluminum shavings on this, but it's properly lubricated. That's gonna be where your thread engagement is right there. These threads are never actually engaged. It's not bent. Like I said, this is a non-turbocharged version. Well, we'll have to get that on a piece of granite and check it out, but it looks like it might be bent a little bit. So we'll go ahead and get some anti-seize, right? Lubricate those threads of the new Steeda bolt, and we'll drive her home. Now that we got some anti-seize, most anti-seize is gonna be silver in color. You'll notice this is actually goldish, brown, copper color. That's because it's got better characteristics for moisture prevention, and it's one of the little things we use in all of our adjustable toe links, camber arms, because if you keep moisture out of there, you're going to prevent it from rusting. One of the things you'll notice that's different, the factory uses a flanged head bolt. Anytime you use a flanged head bolt, it's used to spread the load, right? Spread the forces. Well, they also went ahead and put an oversized washer on there. Once again, that's going to help spread the load. Other kits on the market, they use a lock washer. Not sure why, you don't really need a lock washer, but with a socket head cap screw bolt, which is what this is, which is what you'll find with a grade 12-9, it's not going to spread the load like the factory one. So we're going to give you this billet steel zinc plate flat washer to help spread the load even more so than the factory. So go ahead, and it's very important, you want to get this started hand tight, finger tight, and it's not starting at all. So even though we had the screw jack underneath it, when the bolt came out, it actually dropped the rear mounting point below this. So as you can see, we've threaded up our screw jack to get it back up into place, and now you can see it's actually making thread engagement. So keep in mind, look at the front side, see where the witness mark is, and try to get it back to that spot. As you can see, we got the factory bolt threaded in and out again. Now it does give you a little bit of advantage with the tapered starter tip on it. We'll give it a whirl here. Yeah, buddy. And you want to be able to make sure you get a good, see, a good couple threads in by hand. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 threads in by hand. Now we use our H12 socket. We're set our torque wrench to 129 foot-pounds of torque. I'm gonna drive this bad boy home. As you can see, that oversized washer almost perfectly takes up this entire surface right here. See that? Absolutely perfect. That's gonna help spread the load and distribute the forces when you're launching your soccer mom vehicle. So what are some key points that you want to remember when you're doing this installation? One, you've got to support the factory diff. In fact, a little more pressure is probably better than not enough, because when we took out that factory bolt, with the factory bolt being tapered, it allowed the differential to drop a little bit. So then we couldn't get the new bolt in, right? So what we did was we raised up the differential until we could get this factory bolt back in again. Got it in a couple turns, went to go start the Steeda bolt. Now the Steeda bolt's not tapered, right? So you want to make sure it goes in a good 2 to 3 threads by hand first. You don't want to just send it home and start cranking on it. The last thing you want to do is have to pull your rear end and replace this differential cover. So get it started by hand. Make sure you use anti-seize. Factory uses anti-seize on these bolts. Like I said, dissimilar metals. Think about it as spark plugs, right? You have a steel cased spark plug going into an aluminum cylinder head. You always use anti-seize, right? Aluminum head, steel spark plug, same thing. Aluminum diff cover, steel bolt, must use anti-seize. Crank it down, 129 foot-pounds, and now you have absolute peace of mind that you don't have to worry about this bolt failing on your Ford Explorer. As you can see, pretty simple install, right? Remove the factory bolt, put in the new bolt. The biggest key is anti-seize. Make sure you could start it by hand, and make sure once you remove that factory diff bolt that you actually raise this differential back up, because it actually will come down a little bit. This kit is designed for peace of mind, right? This is not an ST. They got the TSB. They were worried about the factory bolt. Our grade 12.9 bolt is roughly 20% stronger than that factory grade 10.9 bolt. So this is for people that are already running the diff brace, they're making good horsepower, that like to launch their Explorers. It's a little bit more peace of mind. In other situations like this one, it's not a turbocharged version, but she was afraid that that bolt was gonna break. She didn't want to shell out the $500 for the diff brace, right? She's not launching the car, but she's got kids she puts back here, doesn't want to get stranded because of a bolt. Simple installation, great peace of mind, made right here in the United States. If you like what you saw, hit the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and remember the most important thing, Steeda, where speed matters.